Have you ever felt like you were on the outside looking in? Like everyone else was living a different life, a life filled with laughter and games, while you were carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? If you've ever felt that way, then I want you to listen closely to this story. It's a story about a boy, the city streets, and the quiet power of a dream. Imagine this: the final school bell rings. For most kids, it's a signal for freedom. Time to play soccer in the park, chase each other through the neighborhood, or just hang out. But for one young boy, this bell meant something entirely different. It was the start of his workday. While his friends' laughter faded into the distance, he'd pick up his heavy basket, filled to the brim with warm, freshly baked bagels. His world wasn't the playground, it was the bustling city streets. His companions weren't his classmates, they were the hurried footsteps of strangers, the distant blare of car horns, and the ever-present city hum. "Bagels! Fresh bagels!" his small voice would call out, trying to cut through the noise. Some people would walk right by, lost in their own worlds. Others would offer a quick, dismissive shake of the head. But then, there were the ones who stopped, the ones who met his tired eyes with a kind smile, bought a bagel, and maybe even shared a word of encouragement. Each sale was a small victory, a tiny spark of hope in the long afternoon. He saw it all from his corner of the street. He saw friends sharing secrets, families holding hands, couples laughing. He saw moments of joy he felt he could only witness, never be a part of. It was lonely. There were days when the cold wind bit at his cheeks and the rain soaked through his thin jacket. There were days when he sold almost nothing, and the weight of the unsold bagels felt even heavier on the long walk home. It would have been so easy to give up, to resent his circumstances, to let bitterness take root in his young heart. But that's not what he did. Instead, he watched. He learned. He saw the rhythm of the city, understood the flow of people. He learned which corners were busiest, what times of day brought the most customers. He learned to read people's faces, to know when to approach and when to hold back. Every interaction, every rejection, every sale was a lesson. The streets became his unconventional classroom, and the city, his silent teacher. He wasn't just selling bagels. He was studying life, business, and human nature in its rawest form. Late at night, long after he had finished selling, when his body ached with fatigue, he would open his school books. Under the dim glow of a small lamp, another world opened up to him, a world of numbers, words, and ideas. This was his escape, but it was also his plan. He knew, with a certainty that burned deep within him, that these books held the key to a different future. The homework wasn't a chore. It was a ladder. Each page he turned, each problem he solved was another rung, lifting him higher and higher away from the cold pavement. His hands, calloused from carrying the heavy basket, learned to be gentle as they turned the fragile pages of his textbooks. Years went by. The boy grew taller, his voice grew deeper, but his routine remained the same. School, bagels, study, sleep, repeat. It was a grueling cycle, one that demanded a level of discipline most adults would struggle with. His friends' lives were changing. They were talking about parties, first dates, and summer vacations. He was still talking about the price of bagels and studying for his next exam. He was in their world, but not of it. He walked a solitary path, fueled by a quiet, unshakable determination. And then, one day, a letter arrived, an official-looking envelope with a university crest. His hands trembled as he opened it. He read the words once, twice, 3 times. He was in. He had been accepted. All those nights hunched over his books, all those afternoons spent on windy street corners, all those sacrifices. They had all led to this single, life-altering moment. It wasn't just an acceptance letter. It was a validation. It was proof that his hard work had not been in vain. The world had finally seen him. University was a new beginning, a different world. He was surrounded by people his own age, all bright-eyed and full of dreams. For the first time, he was just a student, not the bagel boy. He soaked it all in, the lectures, the late-night study sessions in the library, the passionate debates with his peers. He excelled. The same grit and focus he had applied to selling bagels, he now applied to his studies. The lessons from the street, resilience, observation, and understanding people gave him a unique edge. He understood theory, but he also understood reality. After graduation, diploma in hand, he faced a choice. He could have taken a comfortable job in a shiny corporate office far away from his past. He could have left the city and the memories of his childhood behind forever. No one would have blamed him. But he did something unexpected. He went back. He walked the same familiar streets, not with a basket of bagels, but with a new sense of purpose. He looked at the old corners, the worn-out sidewalks, and he didn't see hardship. He saw opportunity. He saw home. He found a small, vacant storefront right there on one of the very streets where he used to stand. He poured all his savings, all his energy, and all his heart into it. He painted the walls, installed ovens, and designed a logo. And one morning, he opened the doors to his very own business, a bakery. Not just any bakery, but a place that smelled of hope and fresh beginnings. The centerpiece of his menu? Bagels. Perfect, warm, delicious bagels. The people who used to buy a single bagel from a little boy on the street now lined up outside his shop. They saw the successful young man behind the counter, and some of them remembered. They remembered the determined kid with the tired eyes. They saw his story, not as one of struggle, but as one of incredible triumph. He wasn't just selling them food. He was serving them a piece of his journey. His story reminds us that our circumstances don't have to define our destination. The toughest roads often lead to the most beautiful places. The challenges we face can become the very tools we use to build our future. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this moment with me. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that I hope will inspire and uplift you. We'll see you in the next one.